The 1998 expedition began, seeking what satellites first saw. A team of 30, armed with cutting-edge technology, ready for the impossible.
Initial preparations included precise, high-altitude satellite reconnaissance and thermal scans.
Their objective: to cross the infamous, uncharted boundary, the Antarctic ice wall.
Early reports noted strange magnetic shifts near the 80-degree south latitude line. Optical distortions were frequently reported, bending light near the horizon.
Weeks into the journey, they encountered unexpected, impossibly high vertical cliffs.
Thermal sensors detected anomalous, concentrated heat sources deep beneath the ice pack.
Strange light phenomena began to appear, silent and without any discernible source. Subteams reported unusual, rhythmic sounds resonating from deep under the ice. Explorers reported disorientation, fatigue, and brief periods of auditory hallucination. Sensors consistently tracked unexplained, powerful bursts of electromagnetic energy.
Ice core samples showed unique crystalline structures, inconsistent with known polar ice. As they neared the wall, data corruption and telemetry failures became frequent.
In the distance, the wall itself seemed to shimmer, defying geological logic.
Satellite analysis began to hint at non-natural, embedded formations beneath the surface. The discovery, ice formations suggested an artificial, not geological, origin.
Partial footage showed strange reflective patterns, not typically seen in natural ice. Initial analysis suggested complex, deliberate geometric shapes embedded in the bedrock. The recovered data immediately raised questions about a possible non-terrestrial origin. Communications began to intermittently fail, severing the link to the outside world.
Then, the unexplained. Some expedition members disappeared without a trace, temporarily.
Severe, localized storms erupted, blocking all further progress toward the structure. With progress stalled and resources dwindling, the decision to abandon the mission was made.
Official reports were immediately classified, placed under a strict level of national security. True events, locked away, remain shrouded in secrecy and persistent rumors.
Partial data and all physical evidence were hastily recovered by covert military operation.
What was recovered? Only cryptic fragments that defy conventional scientific explanation.
One theory suggests the expedition stumbled upon a highly classified military installation. A base perhaps designed for research, or perhaps for deep-level resource extraction. Another, more radical theory points towards a decades-old alien containment facility. A vast structure, perhaps intentionally submerged, a relic of an ancient, unknown civilization. The strange lights and energy pulses, the signature of advanced, non-human technology.
The scientific counter-argument. Natural anomalies causing extreme optical and magnetic distortions.
Could complex natural phenomena explain the severe, sudden weather that thwarted the crossing?
The continent of Antarctica retains its reputation as a zone of unexplained mass and gravity shifts.
But the consistent, localized heat sources defy all known, conventional explanations.
And the psychological effects, The collective hallucinations and temporary disappearances remain a chilling puzzle. The expedition failed to cross the wall. The truth remains sealed, classified, and profoundly dangerous.
Antarctical's ice wall retains its aura, a boundary we may have never been meant to cross.
New satellite analysis reveals evidence of massive, perfectly straight sub-ice features.
Field notes document geometric precision that cannot be explained by glacial mechanics.
Historical surveys hint that these anomalies predate the modern expedition by decades.
Some analysts believe the geometry points to an energy source or a complex defensive network. The anomalous ice crystals demonstrate unique light properties under extreme magnification.
Witness testimony confirms a dark, viscous substance briefly coated the vehicle windows near the wall.
The localized magnetic shifts caused navigational equipment to briefly spin and fail.
The official psychological reports on the returning crew remain completely sealed and classified. The strange, low-frequency hum was potentially a product of the structure's internal operations.
The very section of the ice wall investigated is absent from most public-facing global maps.
Immediate military presence on site suggests a prior knowledge of the anomaly's existence.
Further analysis of recovered frames reveals brief, unmistakable evidence of airborne metallic objects.
The persistent thermal anomaly suggests a massive power source operating beneath the ice.
The immediate implementation of stringent containment protocols confirms the severity of the discovery.
The zones of temporary disappearance were often associated with localized energy spikes.
The energy signature is complex, structured, and entirely outside our known catalog of physics.
All drone reconnaissance flights failed abruptly when attempting to pass the critical coordinates.
The ice wall itself may not be the object, but rather a colossal, geological camouflage layer. The recovered sketches show structures that were seemingly suspended, defying gravitational logic.
The mission ended in failure, leaving behind only unanswered questions and classified wreckage.
The satellite imagery used to justify the mission was immediately placed under restricted, military-only access. The entire incident was internally designated Project Icefall, a code name for deep analysis.
High-level civilian officials oversaw the swift and quiet extraction of all field team members and data.
The last 72 hours of the expedition's communications log are entirely censored by government decree. Further analysis suggested the massive structure beneath the ice was not dormant, but actively functioning. Drilling data revealed an incredibly smooth, non-ice surface, highly resistant to penetration. The returned explorers refused to speak about their brief, terrifying time inside the anomaly zone. The site remains a massive convergence point for the Earth's natural geomagnetic field lines. A handful of recovered artifacts bear symbols with no correlation to any known human language or culture. The region surrounding the wall is now permanently designated a strictly enforced, international, no-entry zone. The intensity of the localized storm suggests it was an artificial, meteorological defense mechanism.
Physiological data confirms the crew experienced extreme stress during the height of the energy pulses. The expedition leader's final debriefing was held entirely in a restricted, soundproof military facility.
Subsequent, clandestine radar scans reveal that the initial structure is not the only one of its kind. The cleanup teams used biohazard-level protective gear, despite no public mention of biological risk. Light phenomena possessed a unique spectral signature, completely inconsistent with natural polar light. The geometry itself suggests a capacity for movement, rotation, or internal transformation. The recovered ice sample is held in a restricted, ultra-low temperature vault under 24-hour guard.
Local indigenous folklore speaks of the whispering ice, a place where reality itself becomes fragile.
The ice wall remains, an impenetrable, silent witness to the classified events of 1998. All official requests for declassification have been met with a standardized, immediate, access-denied response.
The measured power output from the deep ice heat source is impossibly vast, suggesting incredible scale. Forensic analysis revealed microscopic, self-repairing metallic filaments within the recovered material. Some researchers hypothesized the magnetic and optical shifts were evidence of space-time distortion.
The most critical physical evidence was transported out of the continent via a high-security, unmarked flight.
One surviving, partial audio recording ends with a desperate whisper. It is a machine.
It is a machine.
The detected energy pulses align more closely with deep space communication than terrestrial signals.
The tracks of the ice vehicles stop abruptly, a silent testament to the physical barrier encountered.
A heavily guarded internal memo referenced an off-world asset recovery mission brief.
The final conclusion is that the structure is protected by an impervious energy field, making access impossible.
The vertical ice wall is, in fact, an expression of the underlying, massive geometric fault line.
Secret follow-up monitoring shows the thermal signature is not decasing, but slowly growing stronger.
Multiple witnesses, in separate debriefings, drew the exact same, unique, non-terrestrial symbol.
The zone is now under the tightest international scrutiny, monitored by a multinational military task force.
The intense energy pulses caused catastrophic, localized meltdown of delicate electronic equipment. Covered samples include unique, highly polished, glass-like material of unknown composition. Clandestine seismic data suggests the entire underlying structure is capable of slow, deliberate movement.
Every surviving member of the 1998 expedition is bound by a perpetual, ironclad, non-disclosure agreement.
The last message recovered, partially uncorrupted, simply stated, "The wall is alive."
The continent of ice hides a truth that may fundamentally change our understanding of history and science.
The original radar scan remains the clearest visual evidence of a colossal, artificial structure. The power source generating the thermal anomaly remains utterly beyond our current technological grasp.
This structure appears to be a self-sustaining system, a miniature, closed ecosystem of technology.
They reamed the threshold, only to be stopped by a phenomenon science cannot yet recognize. The recovered artifacts confirm the involvement of intelligence operating on a fundamentally different scale.
The magnetic field acted as a barrier, causing disorientation and psychological distress, perhaps intentionally.
Despite the sub-zero environment, early aerial photos revealed a temporary, perfect circle of melted water. The final energy pulse was immediately followed by the complete and permanent cessation of communication. Classified conclusion remain unchanged. The ice wall conceals an entity of non-terrestrial origin.
This one point on the globe holds a secret that is perpetually monitored by global superpowers.
The official termination report used the unprecedented phrase, "unforeseen, hostile phenomena."
The blue light of the ice wall continues to pulse, a signal waiting for a response we may never hear.
The wreckage and the data are fragments of a story that remains overwhelmingly incomplete.
Collective evidence paints a picture of discovery, deception, and deliberate classification. The true fate of the temporarily vanished explorers remains perhaps the most terrifying, unspoken mystery. Antarctica, the last great frontier, remains the ultimate keeper of our planet's hidden secrets. We found a technological structure, but for what purpose was it constructed, and by whom? The data is hidden, the witnesses are silent, and the East Asian male military guard remains forever vigilant.
The lost expedition proved only one thing. There is a threshold on our world we are not permitted to cross.
And the ice wall waits, silent and formidable, a constant reminder of the profound secrets beneath the ice.